Right now, millions of jobs are on a literal countdown, and we aren't talking about 50 years from now, not even 20. By 2030, which, let's be honest, is practically tomorrow, your livelihood or the livelihood of the person sitting right next to you could fundamentally change. We're skipping the usual pleasantries today because we really need to establish the sheer urgency of this explainer right out of the gate. Artificial intelligence is no longer just some distant sci-fi concept. It is actively coming for our jobs. And the categories most likely to disappear? Well, they're the ones millions of you are doing right this very second.
Just think about the sheer terrifying scale of this number, 300 million. We are talking about 300 million full-time jobs at risk globally by the year 2030. It's a number so massive, it's almost kind of hard to wrap your head around, right? But it represents actual people, actual salaries, and actual daily routines that are teetering right on the brink of being permanently disrupted.
Okay, let's dive into this, because this isn't some dystopian fantasy or a wild guess from a movie. This projection comes straight from Goldman Sachs, literally one of the most powerful and heavily resourced investment banks on Earth. When they come out and state that 300 million full-time jobs worldwide could be partially or fully replaced by AI, we have to treat that as an unquestionable, validated threat. Seriously, if you earn a paycheck, the information we're unpacking in this explainer absolutely 100% matters to you. So, number 3 on our countdown, customer service and call centers. I want you to think back to the last time you reached out to a company. Maybe you were trying to fix a weird billing issue, or maybe you just needed a quick refund. Did you end up speaking to a flawlessly helpful chatbot that actually understood your incredibly nuanced problem? That is AI doing the exact job a human used to do, bringing this whole threat out of the abstract and directly into your familiar everyday reality. By 2026, these systems won't just be those basic clunky chatbots anymore. They're going to be highly capable virtual agents handling deeply complex complaints and managing appointments without a single human being ever getting involved.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why companies are making this massive shift. The business logic driving this is completely undeniable. Think about it. A traditional human agent requires sleep, sick days, and a full salary with benefits. An AI agent, it operates 24 hours a day, takes absolutely 0 sick days, and costs a tiny fraction of a human salary. When you look at that stark contrast, the outcome is basically inevitable. Companies are adopting these systems at scale because they can instantly resolve billing disputes and handle angry complaints without ever needing to log off.
McKinsey's data reveals the immediate reality of all this. 41% of customer service tasks are already automatable. And I really want to emphasize that word, already. This isn't relying on some future hypothetical technology that hasn't been invented yet. This is achievable with the tech that exists right now. By 2030, the vast majority of routine customer interactions will just be entirely handled by AI. The humans who are actually left will only be dealing with the absolute rarest, most emotionally complex situations. So, if your job involves answering phones, responding to routine emails, or processing standard requests, the clock is absolutely ticking. Number 2 targets you directly, especially if you work in an office: data entry and administrative support. Now, this category always shocks people because it entirely shatters the myth that having a college degree and a sleek desk protects you from automation. For decades, we were all told that factory jobs and manual labor were the primary targets for machines. But the stark reality is that the white-collar job, literally the very job you might have gone into immense student debt to secure, is actively in the crosshairs. So what does this actually look like on a random Tuesday afternoon? Well, it's scheduling, filing, managing spreadsheets, handling invoices, and basic report generation. If your daily routine looks anything at all like this list, you really need to pay close attention. Goldman Sachs reports that 46% of these administrative and office support tasks can be automated by generative AI. And here is the real kicker. AI doesn't just match human performance on these specific tasks, it completely exceeds it. It does them faster, and it does them with far fewer errors.
But here is the true shocker of this explainer: $80,000. Researchers from the University of Pennsylvania and OpenAI found something incredibly alarming. Educated, white-collar workers earning up to $80,000 a year are statistically the most exposed to AI automation. Take a moment to just let that sink in. The very people who firmly believed their advanced degrees and respectable salaries gave them job security are now the ones at the highest risk of being replaced.
So the crucial point here is that by 2030, up to 30% of all hours worked in the U.S. economy could be automated, according to McKinsey's projections. This disruption isn't just coming for predictable, repetitive factory lines, it's coming directly for the jobs people mistakenly thought were entirely
100% safe. One day you're sitting there working on a spreadsheet, and literally the next day, you're replaced by a spreadsheet that thinks for itself. Which brings us to number 1 on the countdown: entry-level jobs across every single industry. This is the category that should genuinely horrify everyone watching, because it completely destroys the foundational starting point for every career path on the planet. We aren't just talking about entry-level tech jobs or entry-level finance jobs here. We are talking about the gateway into every single profession. Now, what's really interesting about this is the terrifying gap in these projections from the World Economic Forum. We see 85 million jobs displaced globally by 2030 compared to 97 million new roles created. At first glance, hey, that sounds like good news, right? Net positive. But when you actually look closer at the data, the reality is incredibly dark. The jobs being destroyed are those crucial entry-level positions. And those 97 million new jobs being created, they require highly advanced skills that the displaced workers simply do not have yet. This creates an immediate, massive economic crisis. Look at this vanishing career path. Step 1, the entry-level on-ramp, is being completely automated. Junior copywriters are being replaced by AI writing tools. Junior analysts are being swapped out for smart AI dashboards. Junior graphic designers are ousted by AI image generators. But how do you ever get to step 2, the mid-level, or step 3, the manager, if step 1 is literally gone? The entry point into these careers is vanishing because the starting positions simply no longer require a human being to do them. AI is actively, aggressively deleting the crucial first rung of the career ladder. And honestly, this is exactly what keeps economists awake at night. The true threat presented by AI isn't necessarily immediate mass unemployment across the board. The deep existential dread comes from the prospect of an entire generation of workers who never get the chance to learn the skills that would make them irreplaceable. They are completely locked out of the career ladders their parents basically took for granted because the starting positions, the very places where those foundational business skills were taught and honed, no longer exist for humans. AI is not coming for your job someday in the distant, fuzzy future. It is already here. It's in the chatbots handling your service calls, it's in the software currently drafting your office reports, and it is systematically eliminating the entry-level jobs of tomorrow. So the only question left is, are you ready? Take a really hard look at your current role.